In his 18th book, Polybius gives a detailed report on the negotiations between Philip V of Macedon and the Roman general Flamininus during the war between Macedonia and Rome. First, their meeting is described, and then the conversations and retorts they had. After they distrustfully came close, also described in great details, the negotiations started. Polybius writes,
He demanded that Philip should withdraw from the whole of Greece, after giving up to each power the prisoners and deserters in his hands.
After these accusations, Philip V personally addressed all who were present there. To the demand for the Macedonians to leave Greece, he responded,
And what is that Greece from which you order me to withdraw? And how do you define Greece? For most of the Anatolians themselves are not Greeks. No, the countries of the Arge, the Epizoda, and the Amphilochians are not Greece. Do you give me permission to remain in those countries?
This is certainly one of the most interesting statements that should be deeply analyzed. Not only are these words valuable because they represent an authentic statement made by one of the last ancient Macedonian kings, but with these words he clearly made a small analysis of the ethnic composition of the Greek territories at the time. First, he says that the majority of the Aetolians were not Greek, which of course is apparent according to their non-Greek self-declaration. The Aetolians lived north of Peloponnesus, which brings up the question if that part was Greek at all in ancient times. There are other authentic testimonies related to the Aetolians not being Greek. In relation to this, the famous Greek historian Thucydides, in his work History of the Peloponnesian War, writes that the biggest tribe in Aetolia were the Eurythnians, who spoke in a language hard to understand. The non-Greek ethnical origin, to at least a part of the Aetolians, is pointed out in the big Dictionary of Greek and Roman Geography, where the author, relying on the writings of Strabo, says the original inhabitants of Aetolia were the Curates who, according to Strabo, came from Euboea. Further on, we read about the accusations against Philip V in front of the Roman Senate, made by Greek mercenaries.
Their accusations were, in general, similar to those they had brought against the king in person, but the point which they all took pains to impress upon the Senate was that as long as Chalcis, Corinth, and Demetrius remained in Macedonian hands, it was impossible for the Greeks to have any thought of liberty.
So, the Greeks were under Macedonian reign, and their emissaries in Rome tried to convince the Romans to war against Macedonia and to bring freedom to the Greeks. They also said that as long as Philip owns all of their territories, the Greeks would not gain their freedom. Then, we read a description of the battle at Cynoscapani, in which the Macedonians suffered a great defeat by the Romans. Polybius writes that many Greeks could not even believe that Macedonia was defeated.
Many Greeks on the actual occasions when the Macedonians suffered defeat considered the event as almost incredible, and many will still continue to wonder why and how the phalanx comes to be conquered by troops armed in the Roman fashion.
In the following negotiations after Macedonia's defeat, we see the statement made by the Roman general Flamininus, who told the representatives of the Aetolians,
It is in the interest of the Greeks that the Macedonian dominion should be humbled for long, but by no means that it should be destroyed.
It was pointed out to Flamininus by a certain Phineas that Philip could renew his power, to which Flamininus replied,
Stop talking nonsense, Phineas, for I will so manage the peace that Philip will not, even if he wishes it, be able to wrong the Greeks.
From all this evidence, it is quite clear that Polybius's work represents another strong argument against the present-day Greek propaganda.